reminder that this practice is invitational. So if something does not feel good in your body, please don't do it. You know your body best and what would be supportive for you tonight. So please honor what your body needs. We'll go ahead and get started in Supta Baddha Konasana. So you can make your way onto your back. And then letting the soles of your feet come together and your knees falling out to either side. If you have really tight hips or want a more supportive version of this posture, you could always put pillows underneath your knees to support them. Or you can let gravity work and gently begin to open up your hips, your inner thighs. Take a moment to notice where your hands want to go. Maybe they're on the ground, maybe resting on your belly. But taking your time to get really comfortable here. And when you find your comfortable position, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And as you do so, begin to turn your attention towards your breath. Noticing the inhales and the exhales. If your hands are resting on your belly, maybe you can feel yourself as you inhale and your belly expands and your belly softening as you exhale. Soften your face. Relax your eyebrows, your eyes. Release your jaw and the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And continue to let your body breathe on its natural rhythm. Maybe you begin to play with sipping in a little bit more air on your inhales, letting yourself fill up just a tiny bit more. And seeing if you can exhale any more air, getting all of the stale air out of your body. Beginning to deepen the breath as we deepen the breath, we can let ourselves release even more. So today's practice, there is an invitation to welcome rest, an invitation to recognize rest as our birthright, as something we don't have to earn, something we don't have to work for in order to deserve it. And by showing up to this practice, maybe you already recognize and honor your innate need to slow down and find moments of stillness. And maybe within those moments of stillness, you're able to rest. And so we'll see if we can deepen that in this practice, deepen our recognition and honoring for rest. And continuing to breathe nice and deep here, big inhales, big exhales. On our next inhale, we'll begin waking the body up with a little bit of movement. So using your left hand to lift your left knee up and through center, letting it fall to the right. Both knees pointing to the right for a gentle spinal twist. Maybe you take your arms out to the side and gaze either at the ceiling or maybe at your left hand, or maybe you keep your eyes closed here. You still have the option to support your knees with some pillows. And breathe wherever you land. And on your next inhale, gently engaging through the core to bring the left knee Back open to the left side, and the right knee follows up and through center, letting it fall to the left. Maybe you turn your head to gaze at your right hand. Feeling a gentle unraveling happen across your chest. We want that right shoulder blade to still be glued to the floor. And your next inhale, coming back through center. And as you exhale, we'll begin straightening out both legs long in front of us. Arms lengthen out overhead. As you inhale, grow nice and long here. And as you exhale, we'll keep the hips glued where they are, but you can begin walking your feet over to the right side. You might begin feeling an opening happen in the left side body. And if this is enough, you can stay here, or maybe you begin walking your arms and your shoulders over a little bit to the right as well, coming into a kind of crescent moon or banana type shape. But what's important here is that our hips are not moving, they're staying right where they were. And if you notice yourself maybe like your shoulder or your left hip lifting off the ground, that might be a sign that you've gone too far, so back off just a little bit. On your next inhale, you can walk your feet and your arms back through center. And as you exhale, you can keep walking them over to the left side. So again, the hips, the pelvis is not moving. It's only the legs, and maybe you take your upper body with, coming into this crescent shape on the left. You can imagine sending your breath to any places that feel tight. On your next inhale, coming back through center. And as you exhale, hugging both knees into the chest, giving a little rock from side to side, massaging out the low back. On your next inhale, we'll hug the right knee in and sending the left leg out long for Pavanmuktasan. Trying to keep our whole spine and our shoulders flat on the mat. Inhale, hugging it in just a tiny bit more. And as we exhale, we'll begin carrying that right knee out to the right side. So maybe you hold on to the right knee with the right hand. Begin opening that knee kind of in the direction of your armpit. Maybe you take your left arm out to the side, getting a little deeper into the hips. And if this is not accessible or does not feel good in your body tonight, you can always come back to kind of a one-legged Supta Baddha Konasana where your foot is resting completely on the ground. Otherwise, hugging that right knee in the direction of your armpit. You might feel an opening happen in that inner right thigh, that right hip, and top of the left hip as well. On your next inhale, bringing it back through center, and as you exhale, hugging both knees in, little rock from side to side. On your next inhale, hugging the left knee in, right leg extends long in front of you. And as you exhale, maybe you draw that knee a little closer to your heart. Taking one more inhale here. And as you exhale, hooking your left hand on your left knee, begin carrying that left knee towards your left armpit, opening out towards the side. Maybe you extend your right arm out to the side. And breathe. On your next inhale, bringing that left knee back to center. As you exhale, hugging both knees in. Then rolling onto either side. Using loving, helpful hands, pushing yourself up to a seated position. And finding a seated position that works for you. So maybe you have your feet crossed in front of you, or maybe you have your legs out long. Whatever is comfortable for you, where you can have a nice long spine. We'll inhale the arms up. As we exhale, we'll go for another spinal twist. So left hand comes to the right knee. Right hand kind of kickstands behind us, using the inhale to grow nice and tall. And as you exhale, beginning to twist and spiral your spine. You can take your gaze with you if you would like. We'll inhale the arms up through center. And as you exhale, right hand comes to left knee, left hand plants behind your spine. Inhale, growing nice and tall. And as you exhale, letting yourself spiral a little deeper. We'll inhale the arms up. And as you exhale, we'll make our way into a tabletop position. So coming onto all fours, hands and knees. Our hands are directly under our shoulders, knees directly under our hips. Fingers are nice and wide to help support the wrists. We'll go for some rounds of cat and cow here. So as you inhale, you can drop the belly, lift the gaze towards the horizon. And as you exhale, really pressing through your palms, rounding your spine for cat. Inhale, dropping your belly, shoulders roll down your spine. And exhale, rounding through to cat. You can move through this on your own breath. Inhales bring you to cow, and exhales move you through to cat. One thing I invite you to notice as we move here is your neck. When we're moving through cow, we don't want a crunching in the back of our neck. We want to find length in that. We'll go for 3 more breaths here. And coming back to a neutral tabletop position and staying where you are, I'll turn around so that you can see a little bit better. We'll extend that right foot out, back and behind us. So toes are tucked, giving a little rock forwards and backwards to open up the bottom of that right foot. And then coming through back to stillness, we'll take that left foot and pivot it out to the left side. Right foot can pivot flat onto the mat. We're coming into a supported side plank. So left hand stays planted on the ground. As you inhale, begin lifting that right hand off the floor. So left hand and left knee are planted. Right hand is extending upwards and right foot is planted on the mat. On our next inhale, we'll begin taking that right arm up and overhead, continuing to open the side body. And as we exhale, we'll cactus the arm, so kind of like a goalpost, to spiral the heart towards the sky. On our next inhale, we'll straighten that right arm back out. And as you exhale, we'll take the right arm, sweeping it down in front of us, Coming into a one-legged child's pose. So right leg is still extended out long, bowing over that left thigh. And if this is really uncomfortable in your body, you can always take a pillow and put it between your calf and the back of your thigh, or you can come up into a sort of one-legged tabletop position. But wherever you are, we're opening that right inner thigh some more. Wherever you are, you're connected to your breath and seeing if you can release anything more here. On our next inhale, we'll take that left hand back out to the side and sweeping the right arm back overhead, coming back into that supported side plank. And then with the right hand grabbing onto the right thigh, you may need to bend your legs a little bit here. You can use that right hand and we'll carry that right foot forward to the top of our mat. And as we do so, we're twisting our whole body, facing the top of our mat, coming into a low lunge here with the right foot forward. And staying where you are, I'll flip back around to the front of my mat. So low lunge with the right foot forward. You can have the right foot about at the edge of your mat. So we're more in a lizard. So both hands can be on the inside of that right foot. And if you have a yoga block or a couple of pillows or anything that you want to use to bring the ground closer to you, you can go ahead and do that. If you're near a wall, you could also use the wall to help support you. But staying connected to your breath. Even in a posture like this that might feel like we're using muscles or that feels more active, can you find a body part or a part of you that can rest? And then wherever you are, planting your hands, we'll carry that right foot behind us, coming back into a tabletop position. So it's okay if that feels clunky or not graceful or anything like that. Just however you can, make your way back into a tabletop position. We'll go through one round of cat and cow here, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. As you exhale, rounding through your spine. Coming back to neutral tabletop, we'll take that same little sequence on the left. So extending that left leg out, back and behind us, giving a little rock forwards and backwards. Finding some length in the left leg and opening in that left foot. Then coming back through to stillness. We'll swivel that right foot out to the right side. Left foot can pivot flat onto the mat. And then keeping your right hand where it is, we'll inhale that left hand up, coming into supported side plank. You might look down at that right hand and check to see if it's in line with the right shoulder. You can make an adjustment if you need. On our next inhale, we'll take that left arm, up overhead. And as you exhale, we'll cactus the arm to spiral the heart. Your next inhale, we'll take that arm back overhead. And as you exhale, we'll sweep the left arm in front of us, coming back into that one-legged child's pose. So again, you have the option to either be up in a one-legged tabletop or to use pillows or blankets to support you here. Or maybe you rest your belly on your right thigh, walking your hands forward to the amount that is right for you. If you've lost your breath, try to come back to it. See if you can reconnect here. On our next inhale, we'll take that right hand back out to the right side. We'll inhale, lifting the hips, coming back into supported side plank, and then bending into the legs. Left hand comes onto left thigh. You can use that hand to help carry your left foot forward, pivoting our body back to the front of the mat, coming into a low lunge with the left leg forward. And again, you can walk the left foot out to the left corner of your mat, enough so that you can place both hands on the inside of that left foot. Trying to maintain a long spine here. So if you need to do something to bring the ground closer to you, you can go ahead and do that with the use of a yoga block or some pillows or blankets. And again, getting curious for yourself if you can find some part of you that can rest here, even though maybe your arms aren't resting or your legs don't feel like they're resting, can some part of you find a way to rest? And wherever you are, planting your hands and bringing that left foot back in line with the right, coming back into a tabletop position. We'll take one more round of cat and cow here. So inhale as you drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale as you round through your spine. And inhale, coming back into a neutral tabletop. And exhale, we'll make our way back into a seated position. If you have a pillow that you want to sit on, you can go ahead and grab that. So we'll be making our way into Baddha Konasana. So it's kind of similar to how we began this practice, but a seated version of this. So if your hips are feeling pretty tight, then I would recommend sitting on a pillow or a couple pillows. This will help take some of the pressure out of your knees or your hips. But soles of the feet come together in front of you, knees are falling open to either side. We'll inhale, grow nice and tall here. And as you exhale, we'll begin leaning our spine forward, trying to maintain that nice long line. And when you notice yourself beginning to round through your spine, that's maybe where you stop and see if you can grow 1 inch longer through your spine. And then as you exhale, you can let yourself round over, letting this become a more passive posture. We'll be here for several breaths, so if you want to put pillows to support either knee, you could go ahead and do that. Releasing your neck, letting yourself hang heavy here. On your next inhale, you can begin straightening out your spine. And we'll begin making our way back onto our backs. So if you are sitting on anything, you can move that to the side. And then on your own time, you can make your way onto your back, hugging your knees into your chest, giving a little rock from side to side, massaging out the low back. And then keeping the right knee hugged in, you can let your left foot fall onto the mat, knee pointing upwards. Then keeping a nice flex in the right foot to protect our ankle. We'll cross that right ankle on top of the left thigh. You can begin pressing that right knee out to the right side. So if you're already feeling a lot of opening happen in the hips, then this is where you stay. If you are needing to go a little deeper, you can come onto the left toes. If you're needing to go deeper still, you can lift the whole left foot off the ground. Maybe you interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. We're coming into a reclined figure 4. Wherever you are, though, we want our spine to stay completely on the ground. So if you notice your lower back or your shoulders rounding off of the ground, maybe back off just a hair. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, you can uncross your right leg. And this time our right foot will plant, hugging the left knee into the chest, keeping a flex in that left foot. We'll cross left ankle on top of right thigh. Left knee begins pressing out to the left side. And again, you have options. You can either stay here, or maybe you begin lifting the right heel. Maybe you lift the whole foot off of the floor and reach behind your right thigh. Maybe you notice that this side feels completely different than the other side, and that's okay. Wherever you are still connected to your breath. You can breathe. We'll take one more inhale here. As you exhale, you can uncross the left leg, hugging both knees into the chest one final time. And when you feel ready, we'll be making our way into final Shavasana. So letting your legs extend long in front of you. If you want to put on socks or get a blanket or anything, you can go ahead and take a minute to do that. Letting yourself take any final movements or anything you need to do to let yourself rest here. So when your physical body feels comfortable and ready, I invite you to close down your eyes or soften your gaze. And as you begin to turn inward here, I'll guide us through a body scan. So starting at the top of our head, you might notice the back of your skull resting on the mat. Soften your eyebrows. Mm. Release your forehead, your eyes. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your jaw. Let your heart soften. Let your shoulders sink into the floor. Feeling the backs of our arms on the mat. Relaxing through your hands, your fingers, your fingernails. Coming back to the heart, letting your rib cage soften. All of our organs, our gut, let them be supported by the earth. Releasing any holding in the pelvis and the glutes. Letting your legs rest. Letting your legs fall out of your hip sockets. Relaxing your knees, your calves, your ankles, all of the little bones in your feet, your toes. Letting everything get super heavy. Letting yourself sink into the earth and the earth supporting you. And then I invite you to bring your attention back to your mouth. Checking that your jaw is still soft. And I invite you to imagine the best thing that you've ever tasted, whether that be a food or a drink. The most flavorful thing that you've ever had. Taking a moment to get really specific for yourself what that is, what that tastes like, whether it's sweet or salty or warm or cold, the different textures that it has. And bring that taste into your mouth. Imagine that you're eating or drinking it right now and how good it tastes. Let that fill up your whole mouth. Maybe there are memories associated with this good taste. And so letting those memories be present. Then letting this good taste or this feeling that this good taste is bringing up, letting that feeling trickle throughout your whole body. So letting it trickle into the rest of your head and down through your neck, through your arms, your torso, your hips, your legs, your feet. Letting your whole body feel this good taste. And then resting in that feeling. Continue to let yourself get really heavy. So we'll be here in Shavasana for several more minutes. So let yourself have this time to rest, because you are human. You get to rest because you're a living being on this planet. You get to rest. You don't have to do anything to deserve this rest other than exist. So let yourself have this time. And I will bring my voice back to guide us out of this. So take rest. coming back to your breath, noticing your inhales and your exhales. Coming back to your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. Maybe taking a stretch like you just woke up in the morning. On your own time, maybe you keep your eyes closed or a soft gaze, rolling onto either side, using as little effort as possible to make your way back into a seated position. You can rest the hands on your knees, or maybe you bring them together at heart center in prayer. We will close this practice with one Om. So you may either receive it or join in if you would like. We'll take one cleansing breath all together, either way. So inhaling through the nose and exhale, let it all go. Inhale to fill up for Om. Taking a moment to thank yourself for showing up to this practice, for doing something loving for yourself. And I thank you for showing up to this practice. The light in me sees and honors that same light in you. Together we'll bow our heads and say Namaste.